Hi there, and thanks for joining us on Cappuccino Conversations. I'm really thrilled today to be talking to Itha Taljaard, who's joining us, and we're going to be talking about the Innovation Summit. Thank you, Itha, for being here. It's really a thrill to chat to you.
Thanks for the invite.
Thank you. Now let's start talking about this. This is really exciting.
Yes.
The Innovation Summit is going for the 5th year this time round.
Yes.
And I've only sort of seen it since the third one and been involved, but it really has grown from strength to strength, and it looks amazing this year.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Well, I think this year we are introducing a whole lot of new stuff. On day one, which is the 28th of August, we have a huge focus on the youth, and we're going to have the youth participating in the Innovation Lab and in very specific workshops that we are creating for them. We have a thought leadership piece, the Innovation Journal, which is a first for the country. And there's fantastic articles that's been published in that. Fantastic. And if you come to the summit, you'll get one of those in your summit kit bag. Our Innovation Lab has grown from last year to this year, and we're going to have the most amazing people in there with inventions, innovations, art, creative pieces, thought leaders on innovation. But generally, I think this year we also, our program includes 63 speakers. We've got,
fantastic. It's crazy.
I mean, it is crazy. And
tell us more about it. What kind of speakers are you going to have? You always have a big international spread. I'm going to come back to the lab because I want to know about that. But
yes.
Your speakers, what could we expect to see? Who could we expect to see?
We have a variety of speakers. So we've got people who are come from an academic point of view, who's done research to understand, for instance, entrepreneurship and inequality in South Africa. And we have some research that compares market forces in New Zealand versus in South Africa, have done a comparative study. And that would appeal to somebody who's interested from a research point of view, understanding the innovation and entrepreneurship landscape in South Africa. We also have a focus where we're going to look at entrepreneurs from an archetype point of view. There's 4 distinct archetypes in the entrepreneurship models, and Paleska is going to be sharing that with us, and she's going to have an entrepreneur representing each of those archetypes with her, so people can actually meet with them and engage with them.
Fantastic.
Then we have content that will appeal to people who are creatives, and when I talk about creatives, I talk designers, architects, people who's in marketing, who's interested in brand, anybody who's interested in unlocking their thinking and coming up with new ideas and new ways to position stuff. And we have Professor Ora Ubar, who's internationally acclaimed architect. We have Mokena Makeka. He is awesome. This man just shifts spaces. And apart from his keynote presentation, he's also going to do an interactive discussion like this, where everybody's invited to just come and sit around the table, have a cup of coffee with him, and engage with him. And at the same time, in that panel discussion, we will have Rolf Mulder and Professor Mugendi Mritha from Cape Town, who's also designers, and they've created.
It opens a conversation.
It opens the conversation. So apart from the formal presentations and workshop, there's a time to engage with them. Okay,
I'm going to pause you right there and say, if you are watching this and you want to go to the website, check out right now on the screen. You'll see a click through. Go to the website and check the schedule, because it'll give you an idea of the kind of speakers. And before we go into that next strand, I want to ask you about the way that the speakers are also in categories, because normally you go to these events and it's kind of more for management people, or it's more for the creatives, or it's more for somebody who's strategic. But you've kind of put them this year into different categories of speakers as well, right? So there's a broad appeal. Tell us about that.
Nico, what we've decided to do is, because innovation generally is perceived as a very specialized, focus area, and it's not necessarily relevant to everybody out there. From our point of view is that it is, because innovation has got to do with being creative, and that's got to do with thinking. So our program has been designed in such a way that it would appeal to anybody who's in business, anybody who's in an enabling capacity. So that would be government, it would be institutions like a CSIR, IDC, TIA, any of those people. It would appeal to people who is in the creative spaces. It would appeal to an entrepreneur, because we're going to give them some tools and techniques in order to build their businesses. Where can they look for funding, how to protect their intellectual property. And then of course we also have our content for the researchers, for the academics, for people who's interested in understanding the field of innovation and creativity and thinking better. We have content for them as well.
Awesome.
And one of the things that I would suggest to people is that from a leadership development point of view, it would be a very good 3 days to expose your people that is part of your leadership development programs to come, because we will focus on leadership skills such as innovation leadership skills, how to identify business opportunities and trends, how to use and apply systems thinking, how to move from the traditional product model innovation to business model innovation, which is a completely shift in thinking, using conversations as a tool to enable strategic thinking and innovative thinking, etc., etc., etc.
So it really would be good for a whole team to be there. So there's a benefit, isn't there, for a company to come as a group?
Yes, there is.
Yeah. Are there discounts or specials, or what kind of, is there a deadline?
Yes,
Tell us about that.
We've got discounts. If a company should send 5 people or more, they will get a 15% discount. If a company decides to send 10 people, they will get the 15% discount, and then they can choose whether they want to take up 2 free pre-summit workshop seats, right? Or the CEO can be invited to the exclusive CEO luncheon that we have on the 29th of August. And we know CEOs don't want to mix with plebs like you and me.
And also there's a lot of networking that happens here, isn't there? I mean, I've been to these events and it's a really fantastic the amount of networking that you can do there. I want to ask about that as well, and maybe tell people, you know, because it's not always evident that there's value that you get in seeing the exhibition, going to the different sessions and so on, but there's also a really valuable thing that just about everybody who's in innovation is going to be there, and it's a great networking opportunity, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because you have both. You've got both the service providers on the one hand, as well as the people who's looking for people to provide the services. And from my personal point of view, I have unlocked huge business opportunities, and I know from other people who's been to the Innovation Summit previously.
Absolutely.
It's opened up doors, it's opened up new business opportunities, because you connect with people who are in the space of newness and growth, and who are keen to explore new ideas and new ways of doing things. So there's very few people that's been to the Innovation Summit who didn't walk away with new business on the books.
Completely enriched, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now there's something else as well that I want to ask you about, is the competition, because our team here at the Taljaad want to enter as well.
Oh, good.
Tell us about the competition.
The competition is fantastic. It is for anybody and everybody who's got anything that is creative, that is innovative, that is an invention, and all we need is a photograph of whatever it is that you've done, whether it's a piece of art or if it's a prototype, a photograph of that, you post it onto a Facebook page, and then once it's on the Facebook page, you need to get your friends to like our page, and then to go and like your entry.
To vote for that.
To vote for that, and the guy who gets the most entries will win, and we've got some fabulous prizes, iPads and Galaxy tablets and video cameras and all the stuff that people would like to use. Okay, great.
So again, if you are watching now and you want to check out the link, there's a link on the screen right now. Check out the Facebook site and enter something and go and vote for it. In closing, I want to ask you about something else in terms of the Innovation Summit in the scale that it has. By the way, I didn't ask where it is. Where is it going to be this year?
It's going to be at the Forum, which is in Bryanston. That's on the Didata campus.
Okay.
So it's a fantastic space. It gives us the ability to run 9 consecutive workshops at the same time. Fantastic. The food is awesome. Yeah. And there's inside-outside spaces, which is always good for thinking. And the foyer space is triple volume, and that's where the lab is going to be. And that also adds to the creativity and the ability to think, because from a neuroscience point of view, the higher the ceiling, the better the thinking.
There you go. That's great. Okay. I wanted to close in terms of the lab, and particularly exhibition spaces and the kind of stuff that you can see there over and above the actual fantastic talks. And we're going to be talking to a lot of those speakers on this forum to kind of find out what they're going to be talking about and just get a little bit of insight, and hopefully some interactivity as well online before the actual event goes. I think that's also a really great part, to interact and to network beforehand is as important. Tell us a little bit about the lab space.
Okay, before I tell you about the lab space, just from an interactivity point of view, what we've introduced this year is an online community of practice for everybody that's participating in the summit. So if you're a delegate, if you're a speaker, you go into our online, which is a closed space, and that's where you can actually connect with the speakers and get all the basic stuff out of the way. So by the time you get to the summit, you know who they are, you know what they're talking about, and you can do a deep dive into the actual content of the talk. The lab itself, 2 years ago, we decided that exhibition spaces are boring, and the only reason you ever go into an exhibitor's booth is because there's good food on the table. And we wanted to move away from that to create a space that is interactive, engaging, and experimental. And that is what we are doing. The space itself is being built with using material that I'm not going to give away right now, but it's recyclable, it is reusable, it is not shiny white boxes. It's an organic space. There's lots of activities that's happening in there. We have installation art in those spaces. And it's going to be open to the public on the 28th of August from 2 o'clock until 5. So anybody can come for free on that day.
That's awesome.
And it's going to be open again to the public on the 30th of August after lunch from 2 until 5 for the public, for the youth, for universities, for students. Anybody who wants to come and see must come. It's going to be awesome.
Excellent. Yes. It is. I remember last year it was painting going on and huge interactivity and absolutely everything. Yes. It was really an amazing.
Even better than last year.
That's fantastic. So I look forward to it. Yes. Thank you very much. It's amazing. Good luck. Have a fantastic summit. And please, if you are watching online, just keep tuning in here, and we'll be posting more of those interviews with some of the speakers. Itha, thank you very much. Until the next time round, goodbye.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thanks for watching Cappuccino Conversations.